Hello, welcome to Central Florida Salute YouTube. I'm your host, Bob Peters, and today I have a gentleman who's an emergency medical technician. He was a big part of September 11th, and we're going to be talking about Tunnel to Towers, which is a great organization. He's going to let you know about it. And welcome to the show, John Matting.
Thank you, Bob.
He's not the football player. Are you even related? You're not related?
No, I'm not.
No,
okay. And my favorite team's the New York Jets.
Okay. Okay, well, you're in Florida now, so you better change it to Tampa Bay. But anyway, John, tell us a little about yourself. You're from New York, right?
I am born and raised in Brooklyn.
In Brooklyn?
Flatbush Avenue.
Oh.
Marine Park, Old Mill Basin area.
Okay, and when did you go into be an emergency medical technician? Now, that's part of the fire department, or is that a stand-up, your own organization kind of thing?
No, we merged with the New York City Fire Department in 1996 on March 17th on St. Patrick's Day. Prior to that, it was the Health and Hospitals Corporations of New York City that ran New York City EMS. In 1996, like I said, the merger went on, and we became part of the FDMY.
So what made you get into that field?
When I was 18 years old, I felt like I needed to do something with my community, and I joined my local volunteer ambulance, community ambulance squad called the Flatlands Volunteer Ambulance Service. I started out as a dispatcher. I went on to become an advanced first aider, just to help people. And as years went on, I went and took my emergency medical technician course, and I wanted to go work for the city. And I applied, and here I got hired on November 26, 1996.
1996.
Yep.
How many years you do?
27 years.
27 years. And then you decided to retire to Florida.
Yeah, somewhat.
Somewhat?
Somewhat.
Oh, actually, your wife decided.
I actually went on to do another job in New York. I was with the International Stagehandlers Union. I was a set medic on TV shows. I was doing both jobs my last 2 or 3 years on, and it just got too much. And I realized I needed to make a move somewhere. And then, unfortunately, the Stagehandlers Union had different labor disputes, and work had gotten dried up. And my wife and I came down here to the beautiful state of Florida to sort of invest. And we bought a house, and we never
The rest
invested.
is history, right?
We never rented it out, and we fell in love with the state, and we absolutely adore it down here. And now I have a full-time job down here. So
What do you do now?
I'm with the Sumter County Sheriff's Office. I'm a civilian traffic investigator.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, you're a busy man. So
I can't sit still, Bob.
yeah, well, I have that problem too. So, John, so now you're in Florida, and you have a second job, but you're also an ambassador, right, for Tunnel to Towers?
Yes, sir.
For those who don't know, I have hats right here. I got them from Tunnel to Towers.
Right.
Tell our viewers, what is Tunnel to Towers and how it started?
Tunnel to Towers was created on September 11th. Shortly after that, Stephen Siller was a New York City firefighter, and Stephen Siller was on his way home from work. He had worked the night before from September 10th into September 11th, and he was on his way home to meet his brothers to play golf. And over his fire scanner, he heard the North Tower had gotten struck by a plane. He called his, I believe his wife at the time, and said, "Call my brothers, tell them I'm going back to work. I'm not going to make golf." Turned his car around, drove back to his firehouse in downtown Brooklyn. When he got there, his fire engine, his company was gone already. They had responded to the towers. Stephen grabbed his gear out of his locker, got back in his car, drove to the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel, and at that time, the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel and all access points going into Manhattan were closed down for emergency vehicles only. The second tower had already been struck. Stephen grabbed his gear, put it on, he donned it all, and carried it and ran through the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel. When Stephen got to the other side of the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel in Manhattan, Stephen went into the towers to help his brothers with the FDMY, and unfortunately, Stephen had became one of the 343 New York City firefighters and emergency medical personnel, and one chaplain that made the supreme sacrifice on September 11th. As you know, 2,976 Americans were murdered on September 11th at the World Trade Center, the Pentagon in Washington, D.C., and Flight 93 in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. Shortly after that, Stephen's siblings, Frank Siller, George Siller, and many of them wanted to remember their brother, and they wanted to walk his footsteps into Manhattan. And they started a 5K run, I believe it was a 5K run, or a walk, and it was a walk from the Brooklyn side of the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel through the tunnel to the other side of Manhattan, and to never forget September 11th. And that's the one thing us first responders and the Tunnel to Towers people, volunteers in New York, always express, and everybody. And unfortunately, people are forgetting. I'm starting to see it,
Yeah, well, it's 2001, right?
Yes, it is.
So
We're coming
that's,
up on 25 years on September.
25 years. And a lot of people, the younger people, a lot of them weren't even born then, But no, there is definitely people who remember, and I'm one of them. And I'm hopefully you'll get the opportunity tonight to meet Reverend Gary Cato.
I'm going to try and get that.
He was after the towers went down. He was a chaplain there, hold services and everything, wrote a book, 10 Days of Hell and Heroes, and does a lot. But so you were there that day when the towers went down, or what was your involvement there?
Yeah, I was due into work that afternoon at 4 p.m. I worked on an ambulance in central Brooklyn, right outside the Kings County Hospital area community, and I was not due in until 4 p.m. I had received a phone call from my sister Colleen, who at the time was working for Barnes & Noble right near Union Square Park on East 23rd and I think Broadway. And the exact words were, I was sleeping. I was a night guy, 412. I was sound asleep, and it was like, she called me, and her first words is like, John, I think they're going to need you at work today. And I was like, who is this? Now I swung my feet out on the floor and jumped up and says, Colleen, what's the matter? And she started to get upset, and she, turned around and said, a small plane just crashed into the towers. And I said, what towers? And the Twin Towers. I immediately grabbed my stuff. I hung up with my sister, told her I loved her. I grabbed my stuff and ran into my car. I ran to my station. On my way to my station, my partner called me and said, I'll meet you there, meaning he was going right down there. I got to the station. I grabbed another guy, a good friend of mine, EMT PJ DeRosa. We jumped on the ambulance. We were on a unit called 5-8 Charlie. That was the unit out of Brooklyn. And we responded in, and yeah, it was hard.
I'm sure it was. I mean, those of us who are old enough to remember, I remember, and I'm going to share something with you. Before we talk about Tunnel to Towers and the fine work they're doing, not just for police and firemen, but for veterans also. And I'll tell you my story.
Go ahead.
If you want to hear it.
Sure. Bob,
I was at a convention in California. And the day before the towers went down, I put my wife on an airplane to fly home. The first day of the convention was great. They sang Proud to Be an American, that song, and we had the next morning I woke up, it was September 11th. I turned the TV on, I'm in a hotel room in San Francisco, and I see Chinese writing all over, and I see the towers and a plane, and I'm going, that's a crazy movie, isn't it? I mean, so I said, I'm going to catch the news on another channel. So I was going to go, there it was, and I'm going, my God, this is for real. And we went to, I was so happy that my wife went the day before, and we went to the conference the second day, and it's very hard for me sometimes to say this, but after we got there and nobody could talk, it was just, everybody was in tears. Now, the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers is all over the United States and Canada. And we heard that in New York, there was a young guy in the IBEW, because every 11th floor had a substation. And he was first day on the job. Of course, he died that day. But we're sitting there in total disbelief. And out of nowhere, from the back of the room, the Canadian delegation said, "We want to sing God Bless America with our brothers." I still get choked up. Anyway, the convention, what we could do, we did it. Now, I'm supposed to come home.
Okay.
I can't come home.
Right.
The flights are all started. I'm stuck there for 4 days, you know. And I'm getting phone calls from my wife and my kids, and they're all scared to death. First time in my life, I mean, I served in the military for 4 years.
Thank you.
But I was single, you know, you don't think about it.
Thank you.
But then now you've touched my family.
Yeah.
You don't touch my family.
Right.
You know, so I walked the floor for 4 nights when I got home. Mm-hmm. And I wrote this, and I'm going to read some of it if you don't mind.
Not at all, Bob.
It goes, "Some are corporate people, some are in the trades. Some are walking by where others stop to gaze at 2 of the largest buildings New York has ever made, built with pride and spirit, an awesome sight they displayed. It was a September morning our country will remember. To future generations, we will try to explain how cowards could kill with the use of a plane. With our freedom and country under attack, heroes above Pennsylvania decided to fight back. It was an ultimate price they paid. No telling how many lives they saved. To our God we gave, in building a blaze, heroes who came only with the thought of the lives they could save. We in America are a resourceful lot. With every color, religion, we are proud of what we've got. Our country's doors will remain open, and we are proud of where we stand. Multi-faiths and cultures, that's what made this land." You know, the last paragraph basically says our hate will wait, but don't realize that we're going to get even. You know, that's kind of where the last paragraph went. But the other 3 paragraphs, like I said, I walked the floor, and I sent it out to New York, to a fire department somewhere. I don't know, but it went out anonymous.
You have to understand. There was
I put it out anonymous because I didn't know what the reaction was going to be. You know,
I can't even express the overwhelming love and support and things that were sent to the New York City Fire Department days, months, and years following September 11th were overwhelming. And to the NYPD and to the Port Authority, just to New York alone, was overwhelming. You know what I also find very ironic, and I hope you don't mind mentioning, God bless America, and we made 250 years. God bless. How ironic is it that we are celebrating 250 years, and it was 25 years ago that America was attacked?
Yeah.
I can't get my head. I can't. That's all I can. Every time I hear or see "Happy 250th year," I keep thinking about, wow, it's also the 25th remembrance. I can't say anniversary because it's not an anniversary.
No, it's not. No, it's a remembrance.
Anniversaries are a time to celebrate.
That's right.
And I'm sorry, I can't celebrate.
It's time to remember.
But Bob, the one thing we needed to do as Americans, and it kills me, I'm not a teacher, but I have friends that are teachers. Why aren't the schools here in America teaching like they taught me and my generation and the generations after that what December 7th was? Why are they not teaching September 11th? And that's why this world is forgetting what September 11th was.
And you know what,
My first year down here on September 11th, all the VFW posts, all the AM posts, all the American veterans were doing things and first responders, and that was it. And I was just like, guys in where I live with, I'm going to play golf. I'm not saying they shouldn't go on and do what they normally do, but people are forgetting.
Always remember. We need to remember. And you know, John, I know you haven't watched my show, but you see that lady over there?
Sue.
Sue worked with me for a year, never took a dime. We were a not-for-profit. I get a little bit of money from the AMVETS, and I give it to her, but her time, I give her about a third of what she's worth because she's a professional. And that's what we do. If you look at the back of my card, it says service, sacrifice, honor, and educate.
Yeah.
You know, and I tell people all the time, I tell my grandkids and my great-grandkids, I says, when you come down, yeah, it's nice to go to Disney, but go to a museum. Wherever you go to a museum, go learn the history.
Yeah.
On our Salute program, you will meet, hopefully, Reverend Cato today.
Right.
He talks all about September 11th and walking through the ashes and asking the guy, where is all the bodies? He says, you're walking through them.
Unfortunately, I was there, right?
Yeah, so I know you know what I'm talking about. But that's what Salute is all about. We try to educate, and that's why you're here, my man.
Unfortunately, Bob, I do still have fond memories, and I hope I never forget it. The way America, and especially, and I say New Yorkers and New Jersey, and people that worked in New York, came together on September 11th. While I was responding into Lower Manhattan, I saw carpenters putting stretchers together with wood. I saw the labor guys coming out. I saw the hospital workers setting up gurneys outside St. Vincent's Hospital. But unfortunately, nobody came because, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So, when you say, Reverend was walking through the ashes.
Yeah.
We all were.
Well, anyway, if you go on YouTube, you'll see several shows I did with Reverend Cato. He wrote a book, 10 Day of Hell and Heroes, and he talks all about it. Talks about the college kids who skip class to come over and help out and make food and everything. It's an amazing book. It's an amazing story. I don't know, it's factual, But anyway, we have to get back on track here.
Yes, sir. We could be here all day.
That's right. Tunnel to Towers, it's T2T, the letter T, the number 2, T. And you mentioned how it got started. Where is it? What does it do? We went down, my Eagles, 2 years ago, donated $2,001, our Veterans Committee there, and to Bradenton. They put in those houses in Bradenton. I'm sure you know about it.
Yes, I do.
And we may even show a little bit of that on our show here. But people say to me, well, Tunnel to Towers, where are they? What do they do? And that's why you're here. Tunnel to Towers is not just in Bradenton. It's not just in New York. It's not. Where is it? Tell us about it.
Tunnel to Towers is nationwide. We're in every state. Right here in the state of Florida, in Land O'Lakes, we're building 100 brand new homes for homeless veterans, disabled veterans, and I believe they have about 30 homes built already. It costs about $650,000 to $700,000 to build smart homes. And what I mean by smart homes is when you have a veteran that has lost both his legs, he might be confined to a wheelchair. So the counter space lowers, the showers are
and make it handicap accessible.
Everything's handicap accessible, and it's amazing the work they're doing in those homes. I mean, I would never think of, but our people that work for Tunnel to Towers and our volunteers have all put their minds and thoughts into building these homes and making it for our veterans. Our veterans, we have to be extremely grateful for what they sacrifice, whether it's war or not war, and the time they put in travel and take away from their families. Just think about all those holidays and stuff. They're not with their loved ones on Christmas. So it's very important that we take care of our veterans. If nobody else is going to support them, we need to. And that's why Frank Silla has always come up with this donate $11 a month. And you can find that on our website. $11 a month. What's $11 a month? Another thing that the Tunnel to Towers Foundation is very proud of, 93 cents to every dollar that's donated to Tunnel to Towers goes into the non-for-profit organization. Not many non-for-profit organizations can say that, and we can, and we're very, very proud of that. Right here in Central Florida, I run a golf outing once a year. We just held our third annual. Our first year, we raised $17,000. That was in the fall of 2024. We wanted to get out of hurricane season, so we held a second annual 7 months to the day up at Harbor Hills, up in Lady Lake, and we
Yeah, I
raised
know the place.
38,000. Well, I just found out last week that our event that was held this year on May 7th, we raised 55,000.
All right.
So we're getting there. We're definitely doing a lot. And here in the state of Florida, Bob, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, Tunnel to Towers has paid off 22 mortgage-free homes for first responders that were killed in the line of duty. 17 Gold Star families, mortgage-free homes. And like I said, we're building the village down in Brennington. That's, I believe, 85 homes. Land of Lakes is 100. We have golf outings and 5K runs all over the state of Florida. So, you know, it's very important. And other states do a lot of things. The Carolinas, you know. When I first came down here, I got involved because I called my friends up in Tunnel to Towers in the office on Staten Island. And I said, hey, I'm down here. And they said, oh, you know, congratulations, good luck. And I said, any golf outings around? And they're like, where are you? And when I told them where I lived, they're like, no, we tried, John, but we can't get one started. So
John got one started.
I kicked it around a little bit, and I started it. And I'm very grateful I did because it's getting bigger, and we're getting the word out. And, you know, at our second annual, I had a veteran come up to me on a motorcycle, say, John, I'm sorry I don't play golf, but I really want to get involved. And it was bothering me that this guy, and not everyone's a golfer. And I was like, how do we get him involved? Well, I got a hold of all the veterans posts in the central area, and we did this again this past golf outing. And these motorcyclists showed up, and I had half of them line up at the 9th hole and half of them line up at the 1st hole. And as our golfers went out in the afternoon, they stood there at attention, clapping and holding American flags and thanking the golfers for going out and participating.
Well, that's great. That's great. But we've talked about Tunnels to Towers and $11 a month that you at. But you can always send any kind of money you want.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, but where would I send it? Where would I send it? You have a web page, a Facebook page. What do you got?
We have here in Central Florida, proud supporters of Tunnel to Towers in Central Florida. You can go there or just go to t2t.org. How do you forget that? It's 3 letters, a dot, and 3 more letters. So it's 3 letters. It's easy, t2t.org.
Yeah, I'll tell you, like I said, I went with about 8 or 9 other people from the Veterans Committee from the Eagles 4273 2 years ago down there to Bradenton. And I was totally blown away and impressed. I got a picture here of the Lieutenant Governor.
Yeah.
And Green Beret.
Jay Collins.
Yeah, Green Beret, highly decorated.
I just met him last Sunday.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I met him before you.
Okay. They had a big celebration inside the villages.
Oh, did they?
Oh, you didn't hear about that?
No.
They had over 3,000 golf carts parade.
I heard about a parade, but I didn't know what it was for. You can always go on that webpage and find out what's going on in your area, right?
Yes.
So, so just check out T2T, Florida chapter or what?
No, Central Florida.
Central
or you
Florida.
can look me up on Facebook personally, John Manning, Manning. It says I'm from Brooklyn, but I'm really down here. One of these days I got to change that. But, you know, we do a lot of things. We're actually, I hope you don't mind me mentioning this, Bob, but I'm going to give Sue our flyer. We're having an event like Tunnel to Towers is, like I said, never forget. And we also have an educational unit that does that. But myself as a person that responded that day and survived and got to go home to my loved ones, it's very important. Anytime I meet anybody down here in Florida, and whether I'm wearing my shirt or one of my baseball hats or I'm at the golf outing, and they ask me, are you in, what'd you do for a living? And when I tell them what I did and I was there and stuff, I have not met anybody here in the state of Florida, anywhere in the country, that can't tell me where they were on September 11th at 8:45 a.m. in the morning.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And it's growing up, everyone used to tell me they used to be able to do that when JFK was shot and killed. And I'm like, wow.
When Pearl Harbor was attacked.
Yes.
Yeah, there's certain dates in history that are going to always be remembered the people who were around then and lived then, you know.
Right.
But you're right about the other part about educating.
Right.
You know, you have to educate. And I agree with you. They don't teach a lot of that anymore, but we try to do it here.
Yeah, you have to. It's not that we try it; we have to. You know, trying is an attempt, and don't tell you, I'm not talking down here, but trying is just an attempt. We have to. Just like people ask me, why do you do golf outings? Why do you do this, John? You're retired. You did this all your life. You have to. You have to until somebody else can. And I hope someday somebody will follow my footsteps and take it over, because I know I can't do it forever. But I have a very, very loving and supporting wife, Donna. If she didn't give me the support, I'd be in a lot of trouble and I wouldn't be able to do. But like I was saying, Bob, on September 12th, the day after the Remembrance Day of September 11th, we're going to have a remembrance ride. And it's motorcycles, trucks, and Jeeps. And we're starting in Citrus County at Liberty Park. I don't know if you've ever been to Liberty Park. In Inverness, they have a replica statue of the Twin Towers. It's absolutely breathtaking and it's a really, really nice memorial. I finally got to see it a few months ago. We're going to start there. Registration's at 8 a.m. Motorcyclists. We're going to have veteran groups from all over the state of Florida coming in.
Well, give me the flyers, and you know, because we have the AMVET riders here.
Yes.
We deal with American Legion riders. We always get together they get together.
Right.
And there's a
We're
lot
just
of
going to have a day of unity and day of solidarity.
Also, the
never
Eagles
forget.
have riders groups.
I didn't
too.
know that. Okay. Oh, you know what?
Yeah,
I did reach out.
Stick around. I'll teach you.
Yeah. But and another thing that's very important, and people have asked me, why are you doing this on September 12th and not September 11th? Because this is the first year we're doing this. It's going to be one in. I don't know if we're going to do one next year. I don't want to say never, but in my mind, we're doing it for the 25th Remembrance year. And the reason why we're doing September 12th, I don't want to take away or compete with any of the organizations or churches or first responders in the tri-state area that have always had a memorial or some type of event to never forget on September 11th.
You have a big one in the villages every year.
Yes.
With my friend Reverend Cato.
Yes.
And hopefully I'll see you tonight at La Hacienda.
Yep, I'll try.
And well, don't try. Be there. I don't want to. I usually tell my.
I actually have.
I tell my linemen that work for me.
Uh-huh.
I don't want excuses. I want results.
Okay. Unfortunately, I have another Tunnel to Towers event I have to show my, attend.
Well, I got to get you to meet Reverend Cato.
I met him. I met him 2 years ago at the 9/11 memorial at the fire station in the Villages.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was the guest speaker.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, they have the rec center now for first responder.
Yes,
rec
they
center.
do. Yes,
and
they do.
he usually puts a show, a demonstration or whatever, a program on there.
Okay.
But anyway, Tunnel to Towers. You help. Let me ask you a question. The towers go down, right?
Yep.
All of a sudden, a wife lost her husband, or a husband lost his wife, and Tunnel to Towers helps the families of the survivors, right?
Yes, the wife and children, or
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Right. We step in, and it's mortgage is paid off. Because when you lose the person that's responsible for keeping a roof over their heads and the food on the table, whether it's the husband or the wife, now you're mourning the death of your loved one. And now, after the services and the funeral, and everybody needs to get back on track with their lives, now you're faced with the burden of paying the mortgages, paying the insurance, paying taxes. Tunnel to Towers steps in
And you
helps
never
with
thought that was going to happen.
Right. Unfortunately, some people can't afford to prepare for something like that to happen, or just don't think that it would ever happen.
Yeah, I hear you. We're going to close because I think we're getting ready. I got another guest coming in, but I saw something in the paper which kind of hit my, the Daily Sun.
Yep.
They found the remains of World War II soldiers from Britain. Did you see that article?
No, I did not.
And
I think that's great.
they identified who it was.
DNA.
And
sure.
yeah, right. But A lot of it helped because he had a photograph. They found the photograph. This is from World War I, not II, World War I.
Yeah.
And through that, they figured out his unit and who was with. They not only found his body, but like 5 others. And so they're finally going to be laid to rest. But at the ceremony, one of the British officers, I guess that's the thing they say over there, I gave up my todays so you could live your tomorrows. Think about that. That's pretty awesome.
That is pretty awesome.
So, but anyway, Tunnel to Tower is a great organization if you can afford $11. If you can't afford that, send them a check.
Yeah.
You know, once again, where would they send it?
T2T.org. Again, T2T.org.
I want to thank you for all you do, John.
Bob, thank you very much. It was a pleasure. Sue, it was great meeting you. Thank you very much for everything you do.
Well, we're going to say goodbye. And
Great.
I filled you in a little about that. We're going to look at that camera right there.
Yep.
To all our veterans out there, our active military and their families, our police, firemen, and
Emergency medical technicians and paramedics.
we salute you for all you do. Till next time. Today I'm at AMVETS Post 2006, a major sponsor of Central Florida Salute. And I want to introduce to you the commander here, Ronnie Mack. Ronnie, tell us a little bit about AMVETS 2006. Where are you located? And
we are at 500 North Canal Street, Leesburg, Florida. It's right off of 441, between 441 and Main Street on Canal. Can't miss us. And we're a veterans organization, along with, we have an auxiliary and we have sons of veterans that are related some form or another to a veteran. And we do a lot for a lot of charitable donations and stuff to charities in the area and in the county. And we're a major sponsor to Central Florida Salute. We're proud of it. We're glad to be. You guys do a heck of a job, and we'll sponsor you as long as I'm here. We're going to sponsor you. So.
well, I'll tell you what, we do. Sue and I really appreciate it. We're a 2-person operation. Yep. And what we try to do with education and supporting our veterans community, and you supporting us is major thing. It's major.
We're glad to do it, Bob. We're glad to do it.
And you have sons here, you have auxiliary here. You've got a website too if somebody wants to join.
Yep, it's don't punch into www. It's amvets-2006.org, and it'll take you right to our website, Facebook page, and all that's there, and you'll be able to find that. The webmaster, he tries to get the calendar on there every month, anything pertinent. There's a lot of other links on there for veterans to find out where to get help for certain claims and stuff like that. Our webmaster's really into that stuff. That's the guy you ought to be interviewing right there. So,
well, you know what,
he's got
Ronnie?
a lot of stuff.
You have a lot of clout. You tell him to talk to me, and we'll get him on the show. Okay?
I can do that.
All right. But I just want to, on behalf of Sue and myself, we want to thank AMVETS 2006 because you guys are the major players behind us, and we appreciate it.
But we just wish we could do more. We really do.
Thank you.
Thank you. You guys are awesome.